And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We had a crazy turn of events, by the way. Crazy turn of events here as we had a bit of downtime. We just wrapped up with Skills versus Wayne. We were waiting to catch up on Australia versus Mute, and we had an insane upset. Before we get into that, though, a big shout out in the chat to Ryan Victor's God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. And welcome one and all to the PiGosaur Cup number 31. This is a weekly open tournament, and players come from all around the world, from the Americas, from Latino America, from Korea, from Europa as well. They all come together to face off here in this tournament. We are now in the semi-finals. We have Skillless versus MaxPax. Skillless versus MaxPax. We have a PvP upper semifinals, and we have a PvZ lower semis. Solar, he worked his way through the tournament. He is waiting here. He was waiting for his next opponent, and it is a Protoss, but not the one we expected. There was a crazy upset. Shout out to Enki El Hermoso. He was casting in Spanish. He was covering Australia versus Mute. He was covering that series, and Mute took Australia down 2-0 in a crazy upset. I know that Mute has been improving. I know that Mute has taken down some big names like Classic in the past, but Mute to bring down Australia 2-0 is a very impressive feat considering the form of Australia. He is back. Australia is in form. He's looking good, looking strong, looking powerful, but Mute, he pulled it off. Crazy upset. GG. God, Papi God, GG. So Mute, he was able to pull off that upset. He did bring down Australia, and now we have our lower semis. We have Mute versus Solar coming up next in the next round. Let's go. Let us go. Crazy turn of events here. So we still have a ZvP, but a very different kind of ZvP, and we'll see how Mute can compare to Solar. Again, I would have favored, I would have given like almost a 50-50 chance between Solar and Australia. Australia is a very strong player in his own right. It was like 1 or 2 weeks ago where Australia did defeat Shin. If you can defeat Shin, I want to say that Solar is a comparable player, but now instead we have Mute stepping into the ring, and we'll see how Mute compares. Mute, his PvZ is very different to his PvP. It does feel a little bit, I want to say that historically we've seen relatively standard, more defensive, more macro play out of Mute in this matchup, working towards Sky Toss if he can get away with it. We'll see if that trend continues though. We'll see if that does continue. As for now, our players are getting ready. We're jumping in. Let's go, Bobby, let's go. God. I was messaging Mute, and Mute, he was saying like he was saying like thank you. I don't know how, but I'm happy. It's like este Mute. He's doing well for himself. He's been improving a lot, and we'll see if he can keep going. You know, again, to bring down Australia is already a crazy result, and I know he's very satisfied with his performance so far in the tournament. He didn't just beat Australia, he beat Percival earlier as well, but can he go even further? Can he take down Solar? I want to believe he can. Is it likely to happen? Solar's still the favorite player. Of course, he's still favored, but I can definitely see Mute taking some maps, maybe even a series. Let's go. Yeah. I'm hanging the guy attacks. Let's go. As our players, they did need a moment. They needed a moment to set up, but here we go. We are ready. We are jumping into our fresh best of 3. As a reminder, we have MaxPax and Skillless in the upper semis, so we already have 1 Protoss confirmed for the finals. We've yet to determine, though, whether it's going to be a PvZ or a PvP finals. Let's go. So we are jumping into game number 1. It's going to be on Ultra Love. Yo, shout to Shino, let's go. Sorry, we glossed over that. True. Shout to Shino in the chat. Did take a map off of Solar. Papi, you're crazy. GG. Really well done, Shino. Played well, Papi, played well. I'm sorry we missed those games. We were in the upper half of the bracket at the time, but really happy to see. Sorry I glossed over that, but GG. As we're getting into our next series, getting into our next matchup, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Mute. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's Gamma time. It is Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Will it go the way of the Zerg? Will it go the way of the Protoss? Will it go the way of the Korean or the Peruvian? Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat with your Gamma. Coming into this, of course, Solar is the favorite player, but Mute has been on fire here tonight. We'll see if that continues coming into the semis. Let's go. As for now, we do have our initial openers. Again, we don't really expect Mute to be too cheeky or too cheesy in this matchup. Historically, I will re-emphasize that Mute, he is typically a player that plays towards a longer game state. I'm referring to standard opener, Stargate, Oracle into a third base, into plus something Stalkers, into potentially earlier Fleet Beacon, into earlier Sky Toss. But we'll see if that has changed over time. Again, I haven't really covered much of Mute's PvZ in quite a number of months. And he has been improving. I think I say a couple of months. If I recall correctly, last time I casted Mute was against Cham. We casted Mute in the HSL, the Hispanic StarCraft League. He went up against Cham in the third place match, which Cham did take in the end. But Cham was very aggressive. Like Cham, he had a very aggressive approach to ZvP, as you can imagine, and Mute had a harder time keeping up. Speaking of aggression, welcome to Ultra Love. Ultra Love is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Ultra Love has an interesting dynamic where if you can get yourself up to 4 bases, you can defend and turtle. You can turtle up quite well on Ultra Love if you can get up to a 4-base setup. But earlier on, before that, we have seen a lot of successful all-ins. A lot of 2-base play, 3-base play, German taxis, Queen Ling walks across the map. Meanwhile, Queen drop a lot across the map as well. We've seen a lot of aggression, especially from Solar. If you remember, it was maybe in March. I think it was March of this year. Solar, he was popping off, taking down everyone. He had like his redemption arc, where Solar, he took down Hero, he took down Max Pax that week as well. He took down all the big Protoss names. How? Pure all-ins. Unironically, purely 2 and 3 base all-ins every single game, and hey, it worked. He beat Max Pax, he beat Hero, he beat the best Protoss players in the world that week. It was insane just how solid Solar was, or how well he was performing, and that was again during his like return and his rise to prominence after just after the off-season, of course, the introduction of EWC. Now, not saying he does that all the time, but he's well versed, he's willing to mix it in. And during that period, he was doing nothing but all-ins, fun fact, and finally a little success with it. But nowadays, he does kind of mix it up. But I would not be surprised if he commits here on Ultra Love. Would not be surprised. As Solar, he does move out. Oh, sorry, Mute moves out. He does have his initial Oracle, dips into the natural, gets one, but takes a lot of hits. Ooh, takes a lot of damage. As Solar was ready. Behind this third base on the way, Solar moves in to delay the third. The Oracle has arrived, and the Oracle should keep the third base safe. Yeah, Lings are deflected. With that, the Oracles, they rotate. We have the first Oracle turning back at home. The second Oracle moves out. Third Oracle's on the way. Third base is being taken, and now we have the follow-up at Twilight Council into, I would imagine, Forge. Yep, they're going to Forge. Into plus one Blink Stalkers. Standard play out of Mute. Oh, as once again he overextends. Oracle does overextend, does not get a drone this time. So far, Solar, he is defending very well back at home. Protecting those mineral lines. That's going to be an earlier Roach Warren. That is a 4:30 Roach Warren timing. Solar being very safe. The best Protoss of the Americas. True, true. He's crazy, he's crazy. As things, they collapse on the army. Things gonna be forced back. I would say, to give credit where credit is due, I would say Mute's second best Protoss player in the Americas. Who's the first? Trigger, Pappy. Don't forget about Trigger. I think a lot of people forget because he's been in Korea for so long, but that's the Trigger. When I should emphasize, he's the best Protoss in the Americas when he's not playing Osu. When he God damn it, Trigger. Every time I see him streaming, I'm like, oh, Trigger, he's streaming, and then I check, he's like, oh, he's playing Osu. God damn it. Every time. Este Osu. He reminds me of Starduck in a lot of ways. Shaking my head. So now we are going to be turtling up. We do have our Hydrogen on the way here from Solar. Getting into his Hydras. Getting into his 4th base as well. Likewise back at home. Interesting. So when it comes to this follow-up, it is very common, very trendy nowadays to go into Storm, to go into High Templar, to go into Storm as a follow-up, especially with the change to the energy overcharge. We can see that Mute is playing a little bit old school, going into Colossus instead. When I say old school, I mean like 6 months ago, like pre the previous patch, or in the last patch. So seeing the Colossus follow-up is a little bit less common nowadays. It still works, just less common. As Mute does poke in, shaving off those Lings, applying a lot of pressure, trying to get on top of the Hydras, but not quite able to. Should also emphasize that Solar is going into +1 range and is taking up into Lurkers. So fast infestation bit into Hive into Lurker tech. So Solar rushing into Lurkers. We'll see if he can get away with it. As he is vulnerable. Stace is going to get baited out. Oh, not quite. Mute is pushing in. Yo, if you knock down the tower on stasis units, do they just die? Is that like a combination we could like potentially see? Is like a stasis pops off and then bam, you knock down the tower? That'd be crazy. Hi. That'd be insane. Solar is getting caught out. Yo, we gotta test it. Let's go. Test it out, papi. So now Mute does pull away. Colossal production has begun. Nice contamination here on the Robo. Very nice. We'll delay the Colossus. Mute, what's important here is that Mute, it looks like a 3-base all-in. Yeah, he's going for a 3-base all-in. He's on how many? He's on 8 gateways. His 4th base is non-existent. He could expand right now. He could take a 4th. He should have a 4th, but he doesn't. So Mute, he's committing here into a 3-base all-in instead. Thinking about expanding. Does take a 4th. This is a late 4th base from Mute. Ay. He needs to deal critical damage here and now. Lings, they collapse in. Colossus has arrived. And the Lunkers are here. It's too late. Yeah, again, the timing here of this and the strength of this push is before Lurkers, but Lunkers, they have arrived. And how do you push into this? Without Sky Toss, without Immortals. Without Archons, you cannot break the siege line. And Mute is going to be forced into a longer game state. Templar Archives now on the way. Working towards Storm, but Mute, he has missed his timing. The Lunkers, they hold the line back. They hold the line. Oh god. As Mute tries to push up the ramp. Again, he won't be able to. Behind this prism towards the main base. We have more Lurkers building up. And Solar, he's looking solid. Now, Mute, he could try to rotate and now position Solar and try to strike another expansion. But alas, Solar is keeping up. Viper has arrived, comes in with the yoink, abducts in the Colossus. And there's no backbone to the army, not anymore. We have the Fleet Beacon on the way, but again, this is a late Fleet Beacon, late 4th base. Everything is late here for Mute because he was 3-base all in. And a Solar, he is snowballing out of control. He is overwhelming. Baits out the stasis. From here, moving in. The Lunkers are set. The natural has been broken. We do see here that Mute, he's out of position, going for the base trade. It's the only chance. The best chance if Mute is to go for the base trade. Even then, it's not a high chance of working, but he's going to do something. And Lunkers, they're coming back home. They turn back around. Yeah, Solar now going for the 3rd. Mute are trying to push up into the main. He does split off. Catching out some Hydras, Lee's trying to, but another Colossus goes down. And Solar, he will defend. He will defend. He will clean up this army back at home. We have Zelts in the main. We have Zelts in every single base, actually. Not bad. Drones are falling. But there's no answer to the main army, is the problem here. As Lunkers, they're leapfrogging in. There's that lunge from the Hydras. And Mute, he did a lot of damage. He killed 51 drones, but GG gets called because drone kills is all he can do, and Solar will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Solar will take a lead. Again, Mute, he was being hyper aggressive, hyper assertive, and he was trading well with his Stalkers, but as we saw, his goal there was to try to hit his timing with Colossus to break his opponent. Little did he know that Solar was taking up into Lurkers. So Mute, he was on a timer. He was on a timer. He had to kill, he had to end the game before Lurkers, and he failed to do so. Once the Lurkers arrived, that was GG. That was GG then and there. The aggression did subside, and Solar held. With that, we're getting into game number 2, and we'll see how Mute will adjust. We'll see how he will react, as game 2 is going to be on Persephone. Oh boy. Another one of these more aggressive maps, likewise very direct rush distance by ground, or attack path by ground, short rush distance by air. We'll see how Mute will approach Solar. Let's go. Let us go. It's catching up. Dave Testa, second best Protoss. Oh no. Ay, ay, ay. So I do hope that someone is casting the upper semis. I know that there's a lot of hype right now around Mute and Solar. I think maybe Rocklets. Let's see. Because I think he was covering... Yeah. Because Rocklets was covering Master. Yo, today was a good day for Brazilian StarCraft. But it does look like actually the upper semis has concluded. Ooh, went all the way to the ace match, by the way. Went all the way to the ace match. And Max Pax takes down Skillless 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. Did go all the way to game 3, did go back and forth between Max Pax and Skillless, but Max Pax, he is going to be our first finalist, waiting for the winner of this series. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Peruvian Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Mute. Here we go. And again, Mute, he was being very aggressive, very assertive last game. I mean, when we spoke about the defenses from Solar, a big part of that as well, the contamination, true. The contamination did delay the Colossus timing, did delay Mute. That was also a big part of the defense. Made it that much easier for Solar to hold on and to survive. And I don't expect Mute to go for another 3-base all-in. I don't expect another 3-base all-in, not this time. I would assume that he will take a different approach instead, and maybe even go into a charge follow-up. We could see earlier Glaive Adepts, but we could see something more standard, something more macro. We'll keep an eye on Mute. So now Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of Solar. Mute does confirm this, and Mute, he will disrupt the economy. Will disrupt. Okay, just try to be as annoying as possible. Get out of here. And so far, everything's looking as it should be. Once Cybercore is done, we can pick our tech of choice. We're leaning towards Stargate play, but technically, Mute, he could go for a Twilight Council, for example. He could go into like early Glaives or like a DT-based opener. Those kind of styles are a lot more rare nowadays, and based on the pylon, yeah, it's going to be a Stargate. So once again, Stargate opener out of Mute. From here, we're expecting oracles, but we could see Mute open up Void Ray instead. Void Ray would be designed to hide the tech, to hide the main base, and to hunt down overlords to keep the Zerg player in the dark. Otherwise, we could just open Oracle, get across the map, get some economic damage, and build up towards a third. Eyes are on Mute. Meanwhile, Solar just chilling, just droning, just saturating, building up its economy. Nothing pressuring him yet. It does pull out of gas, so no early tech. Solar, he isn't really one to spice things up early on in the game. I mentioned earlier that he has been one to go for his own 2 and 3 base all-ins. That is true, but it's a little bit too early for that. But now we're just saturating. Meanwhile, we have our unit of choice. It's going to be the Oracle opener out of Mutes, going for the Oracle, getting across the map. With this, he can harass, he can scout, he can delay, and expand. He can do it all. It's crazy. Likewise, even hunting down the Overlord. Now, because Mute did open up Adept into Stalker, it does mean that there's no Adept Harass. There's no Adept Harass here, so typically we'd be seeing like maybe some trades going on, drones going down, a disruption of the third base timing. If you remember, Skillist, he did a great job at delaying Wayne and delaying his third base and killing drones early on, but here you can see that Mute is going for a more defensive style. Because of the Stalker, there are less Adepts. Because there are less Adepts, there's no Harass. So for Solar, he can freely drone up. This is a very comfortable start here for the Zerg player. Whereas typically they'd be, you know, dancing with the Adepts and pulling workers away and trying to keep up. It's a very different dynamic compared to what we saw previously in the previous PvZ. Meanwhile, Twilight Council's on the way. I do not see a Forge, and this is an early Twilight Council. Are we going into Glaive Adepts? Speaking of, Adepts are warping in. So this does feel like Glaive Adepts here from Mute. We'll keep an eye on him. Likewise, Lings, they pulled away. We got +1 melee in production. So this is more ideal for Mute, as we do get a safety Roach Warren. And back at home, as we mentioned, did scream Glaive Adepts, and there it is. Glaive Adepts are on the way. The tell for this, no Forge, and also just the timing of the Twilight Council was just very early. So Glaive Adepts here from Mute. And if Solar was skipping Roaches, then he could pop off, but a Roach Warren is halfway done. Now halfway done for Solar, he's playing safe. Lings are building up, and Solar, he does have the tools to defend. Now, bearing in mind what Mute is doing is not all-in. This should be Glaive Adepts into a Blink Stalker follow-up. There's going to be a lot of Adepts, that is true, but there's no Robo, there's no War Prism, there's no way to reinforce. Oh no, the shield battery's not done, and where are the Adepts, by the way? There's only one in position. And Lings, they deny the shield battery, they get a surround on the pylon. Brutal losses here for Mute. He will lose the pylon and lose probes. This should not have happened. Oracles, they were out of position. Likewise, only one Adept as well. And with that, Mute, he does stumble. But here we go. Here comes the main army. Here come the mass Adepts. How many? 14. 14 Glaive Adepts are moving out. Solar, he scouts this. He knows. Back at home, Roaches are amassing. Roaches are building up. Oh, we have Overlord speed on the way. We have Roach speed as well. Solar, he's getting ready to not just defend, but to counterattack after the defense. He's getting ready for that punish. Lings, they surround 2 Adepts already. Nice catch. Meanwhile, he gets 1, 2 Roach kills. Clutch Transfuse. And keeps Roach alive. Adepts, they shade into the natural. Lings are waiting. And Adepts, they're being shut down. They're being shut down. Roaches are now waddling in. And these Adepts, they don't do any economic damage. They get 2 drones. That's not good enough. We have more Adepts moving in towards the right-hand side into the third base mineral line. They get a handful of drone kills. This is better, but still not ideal. Because what's terrifying right now, the fact that Overlord speed is done and Roach speed is almost complete. What's terrifying is Solar's counterattack. And there it is, the German Taxi. The German Taxi, the Solar, he was already getting set up for this as the all-in was happening or as the push was coming. It's getting ready for the drop play. As Lings are moving out, Roach is moving out as well. Drop Lord does morph in. And this is going to be a tough hold for Mute. Again, just such a quick response there from Solar. Here we go, Drop Lords are on the way. regular overlords as well. We're going for a double link drop into the main. So link drop into the main, queen drop towards the third base, Roach Ravager coming in as well. Ravagers are done. And what is it to defend? We have a couple of Blink Stalkers with +1, no Immortals. Ooh, no Immortals. I mean, of course, no Robo. Lings, they drop in. They unload into the main. And Solar comes in for the surround. Oracles, they try to hold their own, but the Queens, they do drop off. Where's the creep? Where's the transfuse? Oh, not quite there. Despite that, the Queens, they do still hold their own. Yeah, they shut down the Oracle. There we go. Now they can transfuse. And Solar, he has broken the third base. Likewise, Links are wreaking havoc in the main. And GG gets called. Mute gets pulled apart. And Solar will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Solar, he will claim the series. He will advance on. My condolences to Mute. It was a rough series here. Game 1, he was trying to go for his own all-in, but he got shut down early on. He got delayed. Game 2, we had Mute taking a different approach. He did open up with Glaive Adepts as a follow-up, opening up standard, but we saw that Solar, he completely shut down the Adepts. Not just that, but as the Adepts were coming across the map, Solar, he started Roach speed and Overlord speed. He was ready for the counterattack. He was setting up for the future counterattack instead, and with that, he was able to end the game. GG. GG, well played. Solid performance there by Solar. And even though Mute goes down, Mute did an amazing job making it this far. He does get a payout for getting into top 4, and Mute did take down Percival and Estrella to make it to the semifinals. I would go as far as to say that Mute's weakest matchup is PvZ. That is his weakest matchup, is the matchup he has to work on the most, but he has been able to excel everywhere else, and with that, GG. With that, GG, well played. Congratulations here to Solar, and a shout out to Mute for his performance this tournament. GG. GG, well played. With that, we are now getting ready here for our next series. We're getting ready for the grand final. It's going to be a best of 5 between Solar and MaxPax. Another PvZ. We have avoided the mirror matchup finals. Let's go. There's no PvP finals. Not this time. Whew, for the first time in a long time. We're going to avoid that for the time being, and we'll see how well our players can perform. Of course, MaxPax, he is one of the best Protoss players in the world. He's definitely a force to be reckoned with, and I would say he's favored coming into this. Now, we have seen Solar defeat MaxPax in the past, but again, that's more of the exception to the norm, the exception to the rule. MaxPax is still the heavy favorite. I'm hoping that Solar can make a series out of this, and I'm hoping that Solar can bring it to MaxPax. Let's go.